Alright, I'm going to talk about new stuff on this channel because I think as I get older, like I'm approaching 30, I slowly look at life differently. Like as a man, you have to progress in all areas. And what you'll realize year by year is like you're so much more than just like the physical body. You have to take care of everything. You have to take care of your soul. You have to take care of your spirit. You have to take care of your body. You have to take care of your foundation. And the only way to do that is you have to start to look at life rationally and lead by raw truth. Okay, so this is very important. If you can't do this, your dating life crumbles, your relationship crumbles, and ultimately you crumble because you get moved more towards lustful desires, sin, pleasures. You're going to get moved into things because you're not looking at the right things. You're going to get sucked in. I'm going to try my best to help you see things from a different lens. All right, we're going to talk about so much. How do you become a man who can actually live his life with like objective truth and make good decisions? How do you look at life rationally? How do you become that masculine man that you want to be or that you know that you need to become? And on top of that, this is going to be a big reason why a majority of women, when they date a man, they end up not respecting him or losing interest or losing attraction. Okay, all of this is going to make sense. And as I approach 30 years old, when April rolls around, this is what got me here. Okay, so I'm going to be 30 soon. And I realized that anything could happen. I could have a heart attack at 52 and die. I hope I don't, but I could. I hope I live to be 102, but you never know. So I looked at my life and I'm like, okay, if I'm going to be 30, I have who knows how long, right? Like we don't know how long we have. I could die at 52. That would be 22 years. That's not very long. So I started to realize, I'm like, okay, I need to actually look at my decisions as a man, because as a man, all of your strength will only come from faith. Okay? It will only be rooted in your faith. The stronger your faith, the stronger your internal confidence and your internal conviction with your own beliefs. This is how you become a man, or a confident man. So that's what got me here. Now I started to realize, I was like, okay, if I'm going to constantly say things like follow your God-given purpose, or that God-given purpose is what helps you stay driven every day, if I live by that, then I have to realize an even deeper meaning. God is always watching. To grow up and to be a man means that you look at things the way that you know that it should be and what is actually true for your own spiritual or moral guidance as you age, okay? Because this is what you have to remember. You are going to get old one day. I am going to get old one day. Our life is an accumulation of our decisions. This goes way deeper than just surface level attraction. Just stick with me. You look at things the way that you know that it should be, regardless of what others think. Okay? Regardless of what others think. Very important. That's what a man is. A man has his set foundation and he knows who he is. That's rooted in identity. A woman will constantly test that identity to see if you're really about what you say you're about or not. Keep that in mind. Now, the first conclusion that you have to realize and that you have to come to terms with, okay, this is what you have to remember. When you are less mature, you will look at intimacy with a woman and you're going to tell yourself, you know, I need this, or I would really like companionship, or all these feelings, okay? If you actually look at what happens with most guys, you end up dating and being with women that was not a good fit for you, your being, who you are, your soul, all of those things, very important. My first step in actually looking at life with raw truth and looking at things rationally would be this one statement. The point of sex is procreation, new life. The point of dating, okay, is to lead to family creation and or marriage. And when I talk about that, this is what I mean. I'm not just saying marriage on a piece of paper. The most important element, if you're going to refer to marriage, would be a covenant with God between man and woman. Man and woman come together. There's a covenant or unity under God. That is marriage, okay? The point of dating is to lead to family creation, okay? Which is ultimately the point of sex, which is reproduction. So this is really important to understand, because if you can't look at the raw facts or the raw truth of things, it's going to be very hard to lead your life the right way. And then when you take a look at your past life decisions, it's no wonder that you've had women exit your life or pull away, because the woman is going to see incongruency after incongruency after incongruency, and constantly you leading with emotion, leading with emotion, leading with emotion, all because you are lustful, or you really, really, really have a lot of romantic desire, and that is not good. Now, I started to realize something else. There's a huge issue with most men. The big issue is that men don't have families. Okay, this is a huge issue. Because it's like, even if you look at what most guys do, it's like, you really want to retain her interest level in that relationship, and you two are sleeping together, and you keep sleeping together, and you're really just hoping that that woman just stays in your life, and you're hoping that you can maintain that companionship, but you're not looking at the bigger picture. The big issue here is most men don't have families. Most guys are in isolation, okay? Now, stick with me here. What most guys are doing today is, since they don't have families, they're trying to fill that void with words like purpose, career, ambition, social life. Okay, step one in actually understanding that you need bigger goals in life, and you need to actually look at life probably a different way, is understanding that this is you coping. Okay? There's no amount of career or money that you can make or anything that is going to make up for your lack of like human to human family. Okay, this is very important to understand. And the reason why this is important to understand is because in order to be a man and to have a woman in your life that trusts your judgment and trusts your leadership, you have to look at things objectively, through truth. You have to have the strength and the ability to say no to things. Even if in the moment it might upset her, you understand that she will respect you for it later because she knows you made the right decision. You have to prove that you can make right decisions, not only to yourself, but in general. You have to please God. The reason why God is referred to as God the Father is because that is the masculine. Okay? If I'm going to be a man, I'm going to emulate traits of the masculine, traits of the father. The father has a lot of love, but the father is also order. The father is also the strength of the household, the faith of the household. This is so important. The reason why women leave every single guy that they're with typically is because there's no strength foundation. Now, keep in mind, big issue here. Guys trying to fill the void, okay, of their lack of spirit, their lack of faith, their lack of family creation, their lack of ability to communicate effectively or have a good relationship with the feminine. They are filling that with chasing a lot of money, trying to be high status, all this stuff. It doesn't work. So the next thing that you have to do to grow and to evolve, you have to actually give yourself permission to evolve. Permission to evolve. Every year you should get wiser, myself included. If I am talking about the same things at age 35 as I am at 29, that is a failure. As a man, you have to give yourself permission to evolve. Every year you should get wiser because this equals growth. Okay? Now, another thing that you have to understand, most guys are in isolation. This is not good. If you look in the book of Genesis, for example, in the Bible, God made a helper suitable, okay, or like a suitable helper, which was Eve with Adam, because it wasn't good for man to be alone. That's what it says. Whether you believe in that story or not is irrelevant, because that is the overall premise or the moral of the story that you can take away from that. And there's probably something to be said there. Like, you got to understand this. So if you're constantly telling yourself that you're going to fill this void or this loneliness or whatever you want to call it, okay, because a lot of guys right now, they're in complete isolation. If you tell yourself you're going to just fulfill that with ambition, social life, purpose, career, like, here's the thing. That's not going to work. It's not going to work. There's a big issue right now, and men don't have families. You as a man, if you're dating or if you're like with a woman, you are like the foundation, that strength foundation that she's looking for. You're that pillar of strength that she's looking for. This is very important. So I'm going to talk about a lot of different topics today that I came up with off the top of my head because this is what I believe. And I don't want this channel to just be another dating tips channel. There's a lot of channels on female nature and on all this. There's only one Casey Zander. And I know what God gave me, so I'm going to deliver it the best that I can to you. This is something that I built right here, okay? This is what I built. There's layers or there's levels of growth when it comes to a relationship or when it comes to understanding who you are as a man. If you're going to be with a woman and you're going to look at life in a masculine format or from a masculine foundation, which means you're going to look at things through truth, you're going to lead things in a way that is correct, regardless of how you feel, and you're going to look at situations rationally. This is very important. First and foremost, you need the foundation of who you are as a man. So the foundation is your building blocks of you. This is going to be mind, okay, body, spirit, and soul. This is the foundation that the father would give to the family. The word, okay? The word, the spirit right here, that is in some way, shape, or form, in my opinion, masculine. This is why God a lot of times is referred to as God the Father. Mind, body, spirit, soul. That is your foundation. So what happens if you have a good foundation? Now, you will probably meet a woman. But this is the thing right here. You meet a woman and you start dating. Most guys don't understand this. They're attempting to date women off external attraction mechanisms like looks, money, or status, things that are superficial. Those superficial things, this is what you have to understand. Men end up pursuing women that don't actually fundamentally have interest in who you are as a person. In order to date a woman where it's like an actual foundation that is good, where she likes you, okay, you need an active participant. Somebody who actively wants to participate in communicating and talking with you. This is going to be extremely important to understand, because if you don't have this, you're going to be using a bunch of strategies or tactics to create attraction with a woman that fundamentally probably doesn't even like you the way that she needs to. So you need an active participant, and many men pursue women who have zero interest. I'm sorry, but if you're going to sit online all day and try and swipe right or left and talk to these women, like, you got to understand, set your foundation, mind, body, spirit, and soul, who you are. If you set who you are, you will naturally, over time, attract the right woman into your life. Attraction just happens. It's like a magnet. She will come into your life and like everything about you. So you meet, you start dating, okay? Now from there, what you have to do is you have to rationally look at life, okay? And look at life alignment with her and how you are, okay? With things that have to do with compatibility beyond beauty. This is very important, because most men, they only look at beauty. They get completely sucked into how pretty she is. And this ruins your judgment, and it also makes you completely just like a slave to lust. You're a slave to your own pleasures. You think she's so pretty, so no matter how she is as a person, you're just overlooking all of that. And maybe there's certain red flags you overlook or whatever, because you're not looking at alignment and compatibility. This is very important. So notice, we're going up closer and closer to the top right here of what I drew. Now from there, this is what you have to understand. A lot of times, sex will occur, but the whole point and the whole purpose of reproduction would be family creation. So this is the only point of a relationship or marriage, right here. Family creation. And if you are that man, or you are a man, and you actually look at like on a soul level, because I'm telling you, mind, body, spirit, and soul, all of these are important as a man. If you're going to be married and you are going to have family creation, there is only one point or one purpose of a marriage or of being with a woman, and that is to lead your wife to heaven alongside with you. That's it. That's the only purpose. That's what marriage is for, to lead your wife and to lead your family to heaven. Now, this is what I told you. In order for this to sink in and for you to really make yourself a man, you have to understand a couple things. God is always watching, and you don't know how long you have. This is what I'm saying. I could have a heart attack at 52. I'm going to be 30. That means potentially half my life could be over. I need to make sure that I'm doing things and acting the correct way at all times. Because I think as a man, until you get to the point where you realize how important your own salvation actually is, it's going to be very hard for any of this to actually stick. And this is why women are not able to stick by the man that they're with, is because they understand, or women can sense and feel that there's certain elements missing when it comes to the spirit and the soul of that man. The spirit and the soul is weak. If your spirit and soul is weak, you have a weak will. If you have a weak will, you're going to crumble under pressure. Your emotions are going to be up and down. She's going to see all these issues. There's going to be chaos, turmoil in the relationship, emotionally, just not good. So this is what you have to understand, because a lot of men who watch any kind of dating channel, okay, maybe like mine or any type of tips, they have these strategies to attract women, but a lot of times what they really want is the stuff that I'm talking about here. Okay, I've been making videos like this for a lot of years. So this is what you have to understand, okay? I'm going to be 30. What I'm constantly asking myself every single day with the decisions that I make, it doesn't matter if it's in my career, it doesn't matter if it's in life, I'm constantly saying, how would God want me to live? Because let's say we use the example here where I said I could only live to be 52. If I only have 22 years left, okay, decisions add up. Now, if the man, okay, if men in general protect and provide, you have to realize this, or this is something I realize, is I must increase my awareness to see where I fall short. I'm not going to be able to protect my own self, my being, my spirit, my soul, or a woman's for that matter, if I am not increasing my awareness. This video today is to help you increase your awareness. So this is what I have found to be true. This is what I have noticed with so many other men that I have talked to, because I've been making videos like this for a lot of years. When you actively engage in sin, okay, think of the 7 deadly sins, for example, lust, lust, pride, gluttony, whatever, okay? It can lead to short-term pleasure. Okay, if you lead your life in a sinful way, a lot of times it can lead to short-term pleasure. Maybe you get laid, maybe you have a great experience, whatever. Can lead to short-term pleasure, but you're typically always left with negative consequences or repercussions after. Now, this is the most important thing to understand. You have to really look at this in two different ways. Would God want you strong, or would God want you weak? God wants you strong. He wants you the strongest possible. This is why God is referred to as God the Father. God is the masculine, okay? That means every time you're engaging in sin, you're potentially or probably or most likely getting weaker. Now, this is what you'll notice. When you are not able to exercise your willpower, or have will or strength or foundation in your faith, and you're constantly falling weak to temptation, this is when women, okay, that you're with, women that you're with constantly sees you fall to temptation, this is what you're going to notice will happen to her interest level. She senses weakness. She just feels like something's up. She's like, I don't know what really it is, but for some reason I'm just not attracted to him. So it's a feeling. She senses weakness. Her respect level drops. She sees that the guy has no will, which ultimately leads to no self-control. It's just like he's a slave to his own pleasures. Okay? And then what happens is she can't trust your judgment, okay? So she doesn't feel safe. She can't trust your judgment because she doesn't feel safe. She doesn't feel safe because you're not leading your life in a rational way through raw, objective truth that a masculine man has to lead by. And that takes an up-leveling in understanding mind, body, soul, and spirit, and how everything is connected. Very important to understand this. So, to get to this point, you need to realize that it is about what you want and what you know is right, because God blessed you with God-given intellect. You know on a deep down soul and spirit level what is true. That's your internal consciousness. You know this is true, okay? Not what you think will be most enticing to raise her romantic desire. So this is like an example of what I would call like a young man's game versus old man's game. Young man's game is doing whatever it takes and whatever type of strategies to hopefully get the best outcome to attract the pretty woman that you really want. And as you mature, you have to understand this. If you're still in the mindset saying, but how do I attract her? You have this completely backwards, because you're still making this all about her, which ultimately naturally puts what you think she wants on the pedestal. And that is fundamentally incorrect. You have to learn how to say no, okay? And when you do this, and when you focus on this base pillar right here, which is your foundation, guess what happens? The right woman for you okay, will stay by your side and actually trust your judgment. She will trust your judgment because she can feel that it's real, and she can feel that something is different compared to all the other men that she meets. Now, you need to actually start to have a standard beyond beauty. This is so important, so that way your lust doesn't control you. Now notice, this is what I want you to notice. Women have boxes that they want to be checked if they're going to date a guy. Women have boxes that they want a guy to check, and on top of that, women can typically move on when their needs are not being met. You need to have your own qualifications that you're looking for. You need to have your own boxes that you want checked. Modern men today are typically just happy if a woman even talks to them, let alone have a standard. Most men can't even fathom having a standard. You can't even imagine actually having a standard beyond just if she's pretty and if she'll talk to you. And this is why most men today are lacking, is because they don't have the soul and the spirit to reject the temptation and strengthen their will. Because what you're going to notice is that who you are as a man from the fundamental core is far more important, especially in sustaining the attraction with the woman that you're with. So listen closely. It does not matter how many women you've been with or how much pre-selection you tell yourself that you'll generate. You have to understand this. Your decisions add up. You have to set your foundation because God is always watching, okay? And this is what you have to understand. Like, as a man, your entire strength comes from your faith. Your ability to reject temptation, your ability to say no, your ability to have discernment, your ability to lead. This is the things that you're looking for that gets a woman to stay by your side. Now, if she sees that beauty controls your decisions and you're willing to bend and break your beliefs to suit what you think she wants, and on top of that, you don't have clear outcome with your decision making, that is not going to be the man that she can stick by, because she understands that fundamentally something is off and she doesn't feel safe with you because your judgment is clouded by your own emotions. If you like this video, hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Like, this is what I can tell you too, like I said, you need to give yourself permission every year to evolve. I think this is one of my best presentations because I push towards growth. If you do the same, you're going to get ahead in life.